Hey, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm going to talk about Libra. A lot of people wanted to know what was the secret to Libra? How can Libras evolve and kind of push past through their faults, push past through, their misfortune so that they can actually find what it is that they're looking for with ever endeavor. The thing about Libra, and I've talked about this a little bit in a lot of my videos, is that Libra is a zodiac sign that is not very experientially orientated. And what I mean by that is that Libra a lot of times can tell you some things, but as far as having experienced it, having witnessed it, having a firsthand account, an understanding of it based upon actually experiencing it, this is one of the things that Libras lack. They lack very terribly with this. And a lot of times, the Libras are often looking for love, which is cool, right? No problem with that. But the Libras are looking for love and acceptance and understanding the wrong way. Because a lot of times, as I said before, Libras have four main personalities. Four main personalities where they are the butch type, the talkative type, or I should say the conversationalist, the intelligent type, and then you have the naive type. And when a Libra is in charge of a particular situation, right? Or a Libra has to have some sort of responsibility. An unevolved Libra, I'm not saying this happens for each and every single Libra, because that's not what it is I'm saying. But an unevolved Libra tends to tends to think that they know better than the people whom they're interacting with. And that tends to rub people the wrong way because this can lead to Libras over talking and being the conversationalist type, the personality, so much so to the point where the Libra may not necessarily allow or respect the fact that other people want to say something and the other person that the Libra is coming into contact with may not even get listened to, may not even be taken seriously. Because as I said before, Libra is the most judgmental zodiac sign. Virgo, see, a lot of times Virgo gets the bad rep. A lot of people think that Libra is the most intelligent zodiac sign, while at the same time, Virgo is the most judgmental. It's actually the other way around. Yes, Virgo is judgmental. However, Libra is more judgmental and less intelligent than Virgo. It's not an insult. It's just that statistically speaking, Virgo is the most intelligent zodiac sign because Virgo rules over the faculties of learning. Mercury is to learn. That's right. That's correct. So the details, right? Understanding the details of a particular situation so you can learn even faster than the other zodiac signs. Now, going back to Libra, that's where the situation kind of rubs people the wrong way, or it does rub people the wrong way. Because when you bring this type of judgmental mentality into a relationship, it's kind of an ironic situation because the Libras can be the Libras are in a situation where they they are ruled by Venus, but even though they're ruled by a planet that that is supposed to represent love like Venus, they happen to be in a situation where they can't find it. And part of the reason why they can't find it is because of that judgy mentality. People who are in relationships don't necessarily want to be judged in a way that there is no solution. And see, at least with the whole Virgo aspect, there's a solution. The thing with Libra is a Libra will overlook you as a a serious potential partner based off of the clothes that you wear, based off of the fact that, you may not necessarily be trendy. If you pay attention, you may pay attention that a lot of Libras like ASAP Rocky, like Kim Kardashian, they're very concerned if you pay attention, right? Will Smith, they're very concerned. These are all Libras, very concerned with what's trendy, very concerned with being pretty, very concerned with being fashionable. And this type of thinking can be good because, of course, Libra rules over art. So you wouldn't have the industry of art, which is an asset, by the way. And this part of, I'm not going to go too deeply into it, but how rich people end up, saving some money, and actually that asset due to art appreciates. That's why it is. That's part of the reason why a lot of people who are rich and or who have the money to do that, they invest in art, which Libra rules over, and that's a good thing. But the problem is that who wants to be judged from a perspective of, if you're not trendy, if you're not in season, if you're not fly, if you're not a so-called finished product, or if you're not coming along to a particular amount of growth or um, success in your job, occupation, finances, then sometimes you can get overlooked by the Libra. And this is where the catch 22 is. The catch 22, the catch 22 to that is by understanding that what you have here is a situation where, like I said, Venus can kind of play games a little bit, because the situation with that is, even though Libra is technically ruled by Venus, of course, this is where kind of Venus doesn't necessarily do justice, unfortunately, to their own to the zodiac sign that Libra actually rules over, which is Taurus and Libra. And so these traits in a Libra, the inability to listen, the inability to take people seriously who are actually more qualified than you in a particular area, those traits is what a lot of is what rubs Libra the with excuse me, those traits is what Libras end up rubbing a lot of other people the wrong way with. Another element of what Libras do, which kind of gets them into a lot of confrontation or conflict with other people, where a lot of their idols turn to rivals, meaning a lot of their loved ones turn to individuals that end up, not necessarily being very compatible in the long run for them, is due to the fact that the Libras refuse to actually put themselves out there on the line. The Libras are not very self-sacrificing when it comes to getting the things that they want. And what I mean by that um, is that Libras, when it comes to love, right? And don't say that, I'm being very disrespectful, because this is a video meant to critique Libra, so that Libras can actually step their game up. So if any one of these trolls come to the comment section and and they start talking about, oh, well, you're doing a lecture. Well, yeah, considering that I'm critiquing Libra, so Libra can break free from their own limitations. Of course, that's the point, for you to become more powerful. But the Libras, you Libras tend, or Libra in general, tends to want to act like a robot, want to be a computer. Same thing with, generally speaking, archetypically speaking, or typically speaking, their air signs don't particularly want to move in a way where strikes them, something strikes them in the heart, something, catches their fancy. Air signs particularly want to move like a robot, like they are robotic, computerized. Their intelligence is artificial with no room for uh, some sort of a connection, right? Uh, and a non-transactional logical conclusion. If the Libras can't do that where it's non-logical, excuse me, where it's logical, they just decide to not deal with it. And Libras will leave relationships when the going gets tough, and that's terrible. That's not necessarily very advised. And the reason why it's not very advised is due to the fact that Libras, if you happen to be in a situation where you're supposed to be dating somebody, and I will explain this in a future video, you are supposed to actually uh, take that dive and get to know the person and to not dip out or run off whenever the person happens to be in a situation where they're going through some rough times. And see, this is why it is that in some of my videos I'll say things like the Libra isn't or the Libra, right, isn't necessarily built for a long-term relationship. Is because when the going gets tough, it's time for you to actually chip in and help assist your partner now. Be there for your partner now. And if you don't care to get into any kind of emotion, well then how exactly are you going to connect with any one of your partners long term? How are you going to achieve any long, strong standing bond with one special person? The answer is you're not, if you think like that and if you move like that. You're going to continue on to go from partner to partner to partner, and you're not going to establish anything too seriously. And this is why it is that, for any of the cross watchers, but for any of you Libras watching, I'm sure there is. This is why it is that a lot of you Libras are in and out of relationships a lot of times. Not saying that the other person isn't messed up. Of course they can. But there's a lot of different variables. But I'm doing a critique on you Libras and what it means. So it doesn't mean that that's the only factors. That by no stretch. So you can't hope to create any kind of long-lasting relationship with someone if you're not actually willing to get dirty with this person, right? You have to actually take into consideration that what they've got going on, you may not necessarily want to see them in, but you will be there for them, right? As long as these are decent people and they are upstanding. If you want a long-term relationship, longevity is really the key. And that's what Capricorn represents, and Taurus and Virgo represent longevity. You can't create a relationship, right, to to be built over a long period of time. If you don't stay with that person a long period of time, it ends up becoming just a waste of your time. So what I suggest you do is for you Libras to, number one, listen more. Be more open-minded, because that's one of the things that Libras have a problem with. Understand that you do not have all the answers, nor are you supposed to. No one is supposed to have all the answers. See, how we attain a vast amounts of knowledge, understanding, wisdom, experience, power is due to the fact that we understand that we do not have all the answers, and thereby being open to have those answers come to us at their own pace. And also learning that we must discover those answers by being open enough to go out and look for them. Sometimes you'll have to let them wait to come to you. Sometimes you have to look for them. It's the desire to want to learn and experience and grow so much to the point where you are willing to allow yourself to be critiqued and allow yourself to also understand that you do not know all the answers, so that you can actually achieve the goals that you really want, whether it's in love, business, friendship, or in any other area of your life. When it comes to the more aspects of connecting with someone, creating those strong bonds with somebody, you have to put yourself at risk. And you're not really putting yourself at risk. That's actually the that's actually the distraction. You're not actually putting yourself at risk. If you have your head on, if you know what's going on. But you have to allow yourself to be open enough to experience what discomfort looks like, what joy looks like, what love looks like, what fun looks like, in order for you to actually be able to understand that love is a package of all of those things. And that if you don't end up taking the risk, if you don't actually wait around to find out what love actually is, then how exactly are you really going to even have a hope of really evolving in the world and actually becoming better and finding the person that you're supposed to be in? A lot of I've seen a certain amount of Libras get married, but most Libras are not necessarily built for it because they're not open to that kind of appreciation. They're just not. They usually prefer to be by themselves because they delude themselves into thinking that being by themselves will somehow make things go easier. And internally, the Libras are miserable. So try that, okay? This is what it is that I think about Libra. Other than that, I think that the Libras are an amazing zodiac sign when the Libras get their mind together, just like all of the zodiac signs. What the Libras have that a lot of other zodiac signs do not have is the ability to be extremely when they are in a mind state that is equipped. The Libras can be extremely fair. And because the Libras can be extremely fair, because with Libra, it's not necessarily supposed to be 50-50, because 50-50 can actually create a stalemate in which nobody moves and there's no movement. So it's stagnation. When the Libras get to understanding, the Libras can be extremely fair, like I just said. And this fairness can actually end up inspiring the Libra to do great things, such as helping other people who may need, who may require, it's a necessity, they may require the assistance. And the Libra may be knowledgeable and equipped and have enough love and appreciation within their own self and internal value to actually be able to help other people. And that help, what you Libras implement does go a long way. So take that into consideration. All right. The Libras can be very good loved ones, very good romantic partners, but it's all a matter of getting your heart into a correct place and understanding what is it that you do really want at the end of the day, and actually being willing to put yourself into that situation so that you can have it and don't run away from it. Peace.